much more natural, slower, tighter. It's what we were raised on back in the day at Kmart and Okehili. Fortunately, the Okehili trail is no longer there. The horse people have taken it over, but they have Pinehurst instead, which, as I understand it, is much the same type of trail as Dyer. This is all a new trail that was added about a year ago through here. It's nicely worn in. There's a section here that was added by Sylvain. You climb up the rocks, come down the other side, up over these rocks, and down the other side. It's an alternate little feature for those who want to try something a little spicier, and also to get familiarized with some of the trails you find out west and in North Carolina or the Northeast in the mountains, where there's way more rock. We have roots, they have rock. This is all new right here. All done about a year ago. Some people don't like the roots. I think it's important to learn how to ride them, whether you like them or not. Since in Florida, you're gonna find roots. Boy, I'm clumsy today. It's not flowing very well for me, but that's okay. So JD on Monday set, I think, 15 new personal records. Trail was in great shape, not sandy. But now I gotta get used to tight and twisty. Just came back from North Carolina. Epic rides with John, especially one we did in DuPont. It's about almost 20 miles, and it was just a wonderfully epic ride. It's the kind of ride I like. This is another new part. Right here is where Brian Kennedy of BKXC fame crashed around that corner when he was here riding the trails back in March of 2020, right before the pandemic. Check out his video on his channel, BKXC. In this video, you see this is where we stopped right here to talk about John Phillips's wasp war. When we were first cutting the trail and getting into the various wasp nests around. This section also is new. Jerry Kennard discussed putting a trail across the road. I've been eyeing it for a while, and he gave me the incentive to go ahead and cut this. This was back about 2 years ago. That dip there originally was causing a lot of people to go over the bars. It's now smoothed out and worn in. Here's Paul Knudsen's dumbing down the trail where they took out the stump, the learning stump as he calls it, for people that crash into. There's a lot of mud here before, going through the cypress, and Ryan put down some shell rock in the mud holes, fill them in some, and now it's so far remaining unmuddy. Another new section here coming up. Couldn't figure out a way to use that lump there, but I'll think about it some more. Trying out these new Rev grips. They've got a floating mechanism in there. They don't really feel it, as if the grips are loose on the bar, but there's a suspension system built into them. And I gotta tell you that I used to have a lot of problems with cramping and numbness in my hands and fingers. For instance, they would have been already numb by now. And since I put these grips on about 3 weeks ago, I can tell you that they work. Rode for 5 or 6 days in North Carolina, and not once did I have any issues with my hands. So for someone that always has issues with his hands, that's a godsend. Here's an old section that was opened back up. It's a little bit spicy, but very doable. All this is new from about 2 years ago. First black section over those roots, although they have also been dumbed down some, but slippery root there, but very rideable now. There's always been a nice section through here along the canal bank, good flow to it. The fast guys can just haul ass through here. I'm not going to today because I don't feel like it, but very nice and flowy. And of course, Dyer is nice in the summertime, like now, because it's in the shade for the most part. The places like JD and even Hal Patioki, you try and go in the middle of the day, and